Creator of the Month, Mr. J.R. Gloyd.
Thanks for having me.
Star Wars 8, how do you feel about it?
Share your creative journey.
Do you know who Henry Schubert is?
What exactly does that mean?
In the Christian film industry, what topic would you like them to address?
If you had to be stuck in the elevator with Jar Jar Binks, Miss Piggy, or Olaf.
Super important questions. You get these wrong, you might not ever find a job again. We're so professional.
I like to think so anyway.
See, I look professional, that's why I'm here. Okay, let's start.
3, 2, 1. Greetings, fellow Realmers. I'm Megan, this is Heather, and today we are hosting an interview for the Storytellers website, their Creator of the Month, which this month is Mr. J.R. Gloyd. Yes. He is a cartoonist and transmedia writer. Here we go. Question number 1. What I'm sure is going to be the first thing on everybody's mind. What does JR stand for?
Justin Richard Gloyd, so I just go with JR, it's easier. It's kind of a mouthful of a name, so it just kind of went to the hard name only and cut out the easy ones.
On the profile on Storytellers, you list yourself as being a transmedia writer. What exactly does that mean?
Well, I'm writing for the Storytellers saga. I work on the show Literal, but Storytellers is kind of like a multimedia platform of all these different stories that are all connected into like one big universe, but there's like novels and there's going to be shows and podcasts and all sorts of like a blog. I think there's even talks about now like comic strips now. So I'm just a small portion of that transmedia writing crew. I didn't actually enter that in as transmedia writer. I just said I was a writer, and then I think when they uploaded it, they just automatically added transmedia. So
autocorrect. There you go. That's the word. Autocorrect. He missed this word. We'll just help him out.
So, you say you're a cartoonist. Do you personally animate, illustrate things for people?
Yeah, I do both. I have my own little projects that I work on, and I put those online. And then I'm actually a storyboard supervisor for a YouTube channel called Pencilmation, which is like an animated short, like they do little animated shorts about a little character.
Do you animate sometimes, like for your own projects? Do you animate?
I try not to.
Try not to.
Quick overview. Could you share your creative journey?
Wow. Okay. It goes all the way back to childhood. I just always like to draw cartoons. I think it's just always been there. And my parents say I've been writing silly stories since like I could. I got out of high school thinking, hey, I'm going to do this professionally. And then I realized that that's not something that you can just say you're going to do. And then settled for like a stable career, which was even worse. So I basically came all the way around in like a full circle to realizing like the same way I felt about making cartoons as a kid is the way you should feel about making cartoons as an adult, which is just the fun and the love for it first. And then if it blossoms into something nicer, like more professional, then that's great. But if you're doing it to be a professional, then it doesn't work out usually. So
what was the job that the stable job?
It was a cubicle job. I edited contracts. You just sit there and read a lot of like acronyms that you don't know anything about. And you do it like 4 times. It takes like weeks to get through one contract. And it was a grueling process, but they ended up actually getting rid of my position because they wanted to outsource it. So I got laid off. But funny enough, it's like they let me go, and I went home and was like, hey, let's go out to dinner because I don't have to work there anymore. Like, let's go celebrate. So, and that was kind of the big turnaround for me, was just realizing, it doesn't necessarily have to be a career that's exactly what you want, but man, if you just go for what pays the bills, it's not any good. So
it reminds me of The Incredibles, the first one, and you see him working in that cubicle and everything's gray and
yes, it was terrible. And everybody there I think was twice my age at the time, and they didn't like how long my hair was. It was just like ridiculous. I was like, I gotta go. Like, I can't do this anymore.
So we're gonna move on to the.
It's 90 seconds and like 14 questions, so it's going to be approximately 6.5 seconds a question.
Super important questions. You get these wrong, you could like never find it. You might not ever find a job again. Starting now, what do you think is the stupidest looking hero costume? Like the worst looking one.
Oh man, there's so many. I know my wife hates Wolverine's costume, so I guess I'll just go with that one.
I actually don't know his very well.
I don't know it at all. Okay, next one. Lefty or righty?
Right.
Let's see, do you prefer Peanuts, Garfield, or Calvin and Hobbes?
Oh, Peanuts.
Peanuts.
Hands down.
Vegas or Seattle?
Seattle. Hands down.
Pancakes or waffles?
Ooh. Pancakes?
That was a tough one. If you had to be stuck in the elevator with Jar Jar Binks, Miss Piggy, or Olaf, who would you choose?
Oh, Olaf for sure.
Not Piggy? I don't want to hear that. Do you think
Which Olaf?
Olaf?
Is it Jim Carrey Olaf or
Frozen.
Neil Patrick Harris?
The little snowman.
Snowman.
I didn't know there was a Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of a series of unfortunate events. Oh, the snowman one? I'd go with Miss Piggy then. Miss Piggy.
I think I would die if I got stuck with those three. Star Wars, overrated or over-criticized?
Over-criticized.
Which is the coolest superhero costume?
Batman.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Peanuts movie, success or failure? From a creative
totally
standpoint.
Best. Yeah, success. Easily.
Oh, yes. Movie. So, totally homeschooler question. Ever been to Boston in the fall?
Yes. No, I haven't. But
is it on your bucket list? Like a total.
I don't really. I'm just kind of a pirate who doesn't do anything. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good answer.
Why don't you just finish them?
Okay. Marvel. Good or okay?
Marvel's great.
Star Wars 8. How do you feel about it?
I love Star Wars 8.
And do you know who Henry Schubert is?
No.
Good. Neither do we. So, so that's it. We finished the Spitfire round.
And it took 2 minutes and 27 seconds. So
Oh no.
we were thinking 90 seconds, 6 seconds a question. We failed. 2
I
minutes
think
and
the
27.
Olaf thing threw it.
Yeah, it was Jim Carrey's fault.
Name a project you're proud of, like especially proud of.
I'm pretty proud of I just did like a kid's book that I published about a year ago. It took a lot of work, and I kind of grueled, like chipping away at it little by little for months, just like after coming home from work. Because at the time I wasn't working where I do now. I was like a loader for Home Depot. So I would come home and be like exhausted, and then like toil at that. And I think just having that finished project and everything was just like, yes, this is the best thing I've ever made.
What's it called?
Beyond Bedtime.
That's pretty cool, actually. I haven't heard, because usually when you say what's your proudest project, people rarely will point out kids fiction.
I like when I go to the store and stuff, I don't go to the adult sections. I'm always like, hey, what's the new picture book? Or like, why do young adults get all the cool stories? Like,
Yeah, I feel like you walk in the adult section, you're like, man, oh man, this is why the world is falling apart. In the Christian film industry, what topic would you like for them to like address?
Things that are actually things that we need to deal with, rather than the generic like, oh, should I be like confident in my faith? It's like that's kind of a loaded message. Like obviously we are supposed to be confident in our faith. Like next, like that's how I feel. But I like movies that talk about real problems. Like I just saw I Can Only Imagine, which in my opinion is a little higher tier as far as Christian movies go, because they actually talk about issues that he dealt with, the lead singer of Mercy Me dealt with.
I think the thing that the Christian films the most. Oh, anyway, we can edit me out. I'm just talking.
What is it like being a parent and a creator? Like, how do you juggle that? Scheduling is like the only way to do it for me. Like, we figured out, like, okay, he goes to bed at this time, or he eats at this time. He gets really mad during this time of the day. And I literally have to like work my thing around those times because I know I'm going to be occupied. And then as far as being a creator goes with a kid, that's pretty much the best thing ever.
So you said you'd love to support like upcoming artists. So like, how would you like go about doing that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. No, I actually, that's part of the thing I want to work on with my like YouTube and stuff is on Fridays, I'm going to call it Fandom Fridays. I want to start like promoting like, hey, this is someone really cool that I found. Or somebody told me about this guy and I looked him up and here's all their stuff. Check it out. Because obviously I'm not going to be like, hey, check out J.J. Abrams. He's pretty cool. But I would love to find like artists that are doing really cool things where it's like, man, how does nobody know what this person is doing? So.
What would your like dream project be?
I would say either having an animated series or having a video game made.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
You have our approval.
Yeah, yes, MediaRealming stamp of approval. We need to get that like out there. Because it's the only approval that matters.
Right.
Totally. So what's the best Vegas story you have?
Pretty much anytime you go to this location called Fremont Street, you will always find interesting people. And I can't think of like a specific story, but oh my gosh, you can find people like in costumes walking around. There'll be people who need their medication walking around. And then there's just all sorts of crazy people down there. So I think I just have to say my best Vegas story is Fremont Street.
Just go hang out at Fremont and then that's all the entertainment you need for a week.
Make sure you bring a friend. Don't go by yourself.
All right. Share an early memory of cartooning.
I would actually, like, this is back, like, when we had those little TVs with the VCR attached to the bottom, and, like, you just put it, like, yeah, I would tape cartoons, and then I would go and rewatch them, but I would use the seeking button and just watch each frame, and just, like, go, like, oh, that's how they draw hands, and be like, oh, that's how they draw this face, like, oh, that's how they react to this stuff, and I would just do it for, like, hours, and my parents would just be like, what is wrong with you? Like, that's where I learned the most, which is funny.
So if you could have JR stand for anything other than your name, what would it be?
Didn't know we were going to throw that one at you, did you?
No, I was not ready for this one. I'll say like just read. So it'd be like just read Gloyd. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I should just read Gloyd stuff. Like it just like becomes subliminal.
Just read Gloyd. That's awesome.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, I think that was the last one.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. We will have a bunch of his links in the description, so you can go and check that out. And hope you'll join us again next time.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
I'm out of here.
We're going to focus the camera this time.
Ooh, professionals. Hi, my name is Heather. We're here to tell you about Storytellers. It's about Storytellers. Duh. Okay, alright, let's do this.
Hey, the camera's off. That's okay. We'll lean over. Storytellers, what we mentioned at the beginning. It's like a website, like a database kind of a thing where a bunch of filmmakers, creators, artists,
all that jazz.
Right. It's like it's almost like they've got different sections of the site. They've got one that's like a network, so it's like almost like a social media kind of platform. They've got another called a database, which is sort of IMDb-ish, but it's supposed to be more interactive. So, if you want to check that out, we'll have that link in the description too. They should be doing a Creator of the Month monthly.
Come back and join us next month.
And join us before next month for our other random videos about
Things.
media.
Media.
And check out the Myristica Studios channel too.
Because they are just as awesome
As we are.
as we are.
Not a lot of people can do that.
Wink. So, see you next time.